Welcome to the Dana Grant Show, where heart-centered stories, authentic connections, real talk, and real action come together. I'm your host, Dana Grant, and I believe in the boundless potential within each of us. Join me as we dive into transformative conversations that not only inspire growth, but compassion with a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Let's embark on this journey together, unlocking all the power within and creating a life of purpose and fulfillment. This is the Dana Grant Show, where your story matters and your voice is heard, and I cannot wait to dive in. Welcome back to another episode of the Dana Grant Show, where heart-driven actions and entrepreneurs come together, transformation to the forefront of our conversations. And I have got Kelly Siegel today, who is, if I could encompass making a dent on the world with how he shows up in his unique style, it would be in the dictionary, it'd be under Kelly Siegel. Welcome.
Well, that might be the best introduction yet, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you. I got a lot to live up to, but I'm the man that can.
Yeah, I would believe that. When you say that, I not only witness that with you, but you have a story, Kelly, of resilience and overcoming not just generational abuse, addiction, poverty. I'm talking the whole compass. You stepped out of and made a choice to make the changes, and you show up every day in your unique style. Yep, sharing it out there, rocking and rolling, and you're not everyone's flavor, but because you are powerful in your message, and it's going to rub up against people's stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I am everyone's cup of tea. If I'm rubbing you the wrong way, then there's probably something in your life that's way out of alignment. And I know that sounds arrogant, but it's just not. I live life the right way.
It's rubbing up against their stuff that they don't want to deal with. And yeah, because you've got a great message.
So I want to say this is take two. That we lost our first episode. This one's going to be so much better because honestly, within the last 2 weeks since we recorded the last one, I've had even more breakthroughs because I'm constantly working on myself. So some of the things that as we're launching the Heart of Life coaching program, I had to, everybody sells on the promise. Oh, if you just do this, this is what happens. And then I start thinking, I'm like, you know what? I want to sell on proof. So I started unpacking my childhood even more. And I remembered there's so much more that I've left off. Now, I'm a child of welfare. And we grew up on welfare. So when I do what I do now, I'm very grateful because I didn't come from anything. So I worked extra hard. So if you want to talk about like overcoming childhood trauma and abuse, so we were physically abused, emotionally abused. So and when you talk about fitness, so what we coach on is fitness, business, and relationships. All three I have absolutely mastered. So I was thinking about that. I don't ever talk about it. I still struggle with blowing my own horn, Dana, because it feels like it's arrogant, but it's not. I've done the work. So there's nothing about my life that is wrong. So, sorry, I'm getting phone calls. My staff doesn't know. I run an IT company, and the guys never look at my calendar to see where I'm at. So,
you're in a very VIP conversation right now.
Yes, with one of my favorite people in the world.
Oh, ditto. And you know what I love about you so much is that you do show up in your authenticity. And I do hear you where you come from, because you really are humble in the fact and so grateful for where you are and what you're creating and what you want in the space you want to hold for people to transform. And I suppose I hear it when you say, listen, I came from nothing, the poverty that gripped your family, the physical, the addiction, all of it, you overcame. Let's start there. What was it like to overcome that? And what did that journey start out looking like?
Well, first of all, we always drink the poison and expect somebody else to die. So the longer you sit back and you say, I'm this way because my parents did this, or I'm this way because you are flaming the victim. And why be a victim when you can be the victor? And we can spin this any which way we want to say it. It's feed the positive dog and not the negative dog. But if you want better, if you want to improve and optimize something in your life, you've got to look right in the mirror. Stop looking out the window, look right in the mirror, and there is your answer. So you asked me how it feels good every single day, but I'm a work in progress. I am going to constantly get better and better and better. You know what I know since the last shoot of this, what I realized is the less I do, the better I get. Because I'm always been trying to push, meet resistance with resistance, and just constantly show up and show out when I should just be. I don't need to do. And I've done all the way till now. Now I can just be and help people. So we're the real deal. And I'm just going to be myself.
I
And
love
you
that.
keep saying, one of the things you keep saying is he's different and he brings, this is just who I am.
Yeah.
And I
Unique.
believe that a lot of people are just playing small. And I'm not going to play small because playing small isn't going to help anybody, isn't going to make an impact. And I just don't even understand it. Just came from a meeting at my IT company, and everybody's got valid reasons why we can't get something done. And I knocked them all down one after another. And everyone's like, you just don't know. No. And I said, no, I don't. I said, I will not stop until I get what I came for or something better. And I
Mm.
don't know where that come. You know where that came from? That's to answer your question, Dana, because I am possible. I'm possible. People say you grew up the way you did. You were physically, emotionally. You shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be possible. But that gave me the grit and the will to succeed. And I will never go without food. I will always pay it forward, and I always help people. And the reason why I'm so big and strong is because I had to protect myself from the savage beatings. But you want to go fast, you go alone. You want to go far, you go together. So now I'm getting better at bringing in people into my ecosystem and reaching out to people
Collaborative.
like Amberly and like you
Yeah.
and saying, I need help. I reach out to Rudy almost weekly and asking him, I'm feeling this weird thing. What's going on here? And he,
Yeah.
like a great friend, coaches me for free, but I love him very
Yeah,
much for it.
just leveling, you're just leveling up, you're feeling it and you're calling it in. You're aligning with whom, is available to you. And you wouldn't be asking those questions if you weren't ready for the answers. This
Well,
is that.
that's funny what it is. You say that too. I want to riff on that for a moment. You want a better life? Ask yourself better questions.
Yeah.
So many of us aren't even asking questions. Like, why do I feel this way? How is this serving me? Is this really the life I want to live? And
Yeah.
when the answer is no, 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 make a change. It's
Yeah.
I was talking about this with my girlfriend this morning. It's like people say it's hard to make change, but your life is hard, period, especially if you're out of alignment. It is
Yeah.
much easier to go through said change, said hardships, and the
Yeah.
reward on the other side of it will be tremendous. It's harder to stay where you are. Oh my goodness, Dana, I could tell you stories. I've been shot at. I've had guns to my head. I've been stabbed. I've been beaten because I chose to make poor decisions and run with bad people.
Right.
I was facing 60 years in jail. I got suspended from my university, all because I was making stupid choices. And guess who was making them? Me.
Right.
Nobody else around me. It was me. Now,
Yeah.
I got people turned against me and ratted on me, all that. You know what? If I wasn't committing the crime, they couldn't have ratted on me. So I owned 100% of it, and it made it easier to get over it. Now I just don't make those kind of decisions. I make better decisions.
Right. Well, all those universal laws are at play. The law of attraction, the law of cause and effect. You broke the chain, you got a new generational chain going because your actions and your reactions for every cause, there's an effect. So you change the cause and your effect is different. And what a powerful impact you have on the world. And you know what I love that you incorporated fitness in all of this. You decided to incorporate, I mean, massive fitness. Where did that come in? I mean, it's like mind blowing. But were you always interested in fitness, or did you decide that was just another up level you were going to do?
No, I briefly touched on it. My
Yeah.
stepfather was 6'1", 265 pounds, and I was 5 foot nothing, 100 and nothing pounds.
Mm.
And it wasn't till the day that he was spotting me that he couldn't lift the weight that he finally respected my physical stature and the beatings stopped. That's number one. Number two was,
Mm.
um, so really I just I was always a little kid, so I had to work harder than everybody else and be
Mm.
physical. My birthday's late in the year. It's November. So I actually started school before everybody else, and I was small. And then in my upbringing, where I grew up in Warren, most kids get held back a grade. They don't do that anymore because they don't hold anybody accountable. That's for another story. Um,
Mhm.
and so I was really small for my grade,
Mhm.
and I wanted to level it out. I wanted to be equal. So my friends call, or my friends, the kids in my back of my day called me Smurf. And that used to drive me nuts because no matter how small I was faster and I was tougher and I was going to show you. And I wouldn't back down from a fight. And I won't today. And then it just grew after I really learned how to lift weights and I started
Mhm.
putting on massive size where you've seen me in person. I'm a big
Yeah.
boy. I'm not
Yeah.
tall, but I'm like a tree trunk. And now
Yeah.
it opens doors for me. I walk into a room, everybody looks. Plus, they know when I speak, I mean business because it takes a hell of a lot of dedication to look like this. I'm
Oh, yeah.
48, I'll be 49 next month, and I got a six pack and it's getting better, baby. My
Yeah.
plan is to be at 50 and
Yeah.
nifty at 50.
Nifty at 50. Hey, I'm a testament to it. It only gets better. I don't believe there's any limitations on slowing down and doing what we're doing. We
I
get we
think
get to keep.
you're like wine. You get better with age. And I know you just had a massive birthday
Yeah.
and you're even prettier every single day. I think,
Oh, thank you,
and the people
Kelly.
that get to know you know that you're pretty inside. And that's what it's about. Once you can get the validation inside and you
Yeah.
don't need anything going on in the external. Like I love
Yeah.
your superlatives. I love that the Heart and Life
Mhm.
brand and the podcast,
Yeah.
everything's it's great. But if it's
Yeah.
not, I'm still going to do it. I don't care about, I marry the process, divorce the outcome,
Yeah.
and you don't put anything. But if of
Yeah.
course you have the goals, it gives you where you're
Yeah.
headed. But
Yeah.
if you sit there and go, well, I'm only going to do it if I get something in the end, that's the wrong way to look at life, which you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I love your commitment to this process and your commitment to self-mastery, because I think you pay that forward. You stretch people's ability and what they think they can do.
I love that you use mastery. That word has been popping in my head over and over as we're shooting more reels and putting out more content to get ready to massively launch the Heart and Life coaching program, which will probably by the time this goes out, it'll be ready. So if anybody
Mhm.
emails me, Kelly at heartandlife.com, I'll
Mhm.
send you a electric copy of the book because we're running a new book. We'll get you on the list for the program, and there'll be all kinds of freebies and all the speaking stuff and all the new stuff that we got coming out for the podcast. So just email me, Kelly at heartandlife.com. We'll get you on the list. But yeah, that self mastery is what keeps coming up, and I didn't even come up with it. My team did. They're like, "You're kind of a master," and I always say, "Well, a master of all, a jack of all trades, master of none." They're like, "Oh no, you've pretty much
No.
well mastered it." But I
Yeah.
keep thinking, no, I keep growing and keep getting better and keep, I'm always coaching, always trying to help people. So
Yeah.
I'm going to get better and better and better. I'm going to learn it all. And we're going to keep doing this to bring better content to people, to make better impact to people, and then ultimately to raise enough money to make massive donations to the charities that we work with. I did a walkthrough with Gleaners Food
Mhm.
Bank yesterday. We're going to be doing some donations already from the IT
Yeah.
team. If you can't give back, and the more you give, the more you receive in this world.
Yeah.
So I'm a walking testament of what life should be. And I got to tell you, Dana, it's beautiful. I love my life so much I would never change anything. And I'm so grateful for having gone through everything. And I'm grateful for having the friends and the opportunity like you and this
Yeah.
podcast. Thank you again for
Yeah.
having me.
Well, I think that when we show up in this service, we attract more people that are in service. Like it's that like attracts like, the law of attraction. And I think that really plays in here. I think about what catapulted you into the world and what it took to make those big changes. You had a big life and now you still have a big life. So you were a big energy coming into this world. There's no doubt about it, because even when you feel small, some people can feel smaller and get smaller, but you chose to get bigger. Even now, It's like, I'm still learning, I'm still growing. Well, heads up, it doesn't ever end. When we choose this process and it chooses us, we're never in a place where we aren't expanding and ebbing and flowing and things that serve us, and then we can release. But I've watched you release things even since our last talk and embrace, even more. And I love that. And that is mastery, because we never hit the end result, ever that goal mark that everyone's looking for. I'm like, oh, baby, give that up. This is the process. And I love that you celebrate the process. Tell me more about that, because that's how I see you, celebrating the process, showing up and paying it forward every day.
I, the, there's a word you said in there that I've never heard anybody say: catapult me and big energy. I've heard big energy.
Mhm.
I've never said this before ever, and I just realized it as you just said, the big energy. You know that the reason why I have such big energy was because I was trying to be seen. So it was a fake it till you make it thing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I didn't make it, I believed it, I embodied it. I
Mm.
literally faked it for years as a child and into
Right.
my adolescent years all the way through college, until one day I'm looking around the room and I'm with some winners. And I said, "Oh, I made it."
I I'm included.
And
I'm included in those. Yeah.
and it was just the process. So anything in what they say, if you fail to plan to fail. So I always have a process and a procedure for everything, and I repeat it over a long period of time. And then I keep tweaking it. This is a business plan or a personal plan. And I keep tweaking it until we get closer to the outcome we're trying to do. So my
Mm.
daily routine is insane. I do, meditations, mantras, journaling, workout, reading,
Mm.
podcasts, all the above. And then if something's not working, I either
Mhm.
pull it out and do something else, or I add to it until something
Mhm.
replaces it. Same thing in business. Everything has a
Mhm.
number. You
Yeah.
grab your most important number and the
Mhm.
drivers that drive those numbers. And usually, I figured out in my personal life, I have a number that's important. It's seven. And
Mm.
it's funny, it's because it's really technically 77. I need to sleep 7 hours and I need to work out 7 days a week. That's it. If I do
Mm.
that in my personal life, everything cascades from there. So I know
Mhm.
that sounds weird, but if I work out 6 days, that seventh day I'm grumpy. If
Right.
I get 6 hours of sleep, I'm tired. If I get 8 hours of sleep, I'm over. I ate too much. So I'm always dialing that in. And those are my
Mm.
most important numbers in my personal life. In my business life, I have certain things that I have to accomplish every single day. And
Mhm.
I'm a salesman at heart, so I'm always looking at the sales. And it's not the number of sales that we make. To me, the most important number is the number of new first time appointments that we make, the new connections.
Yeah.
So I'm always measuring numbers. And that's the businessman in me. But I started that off when I was 12. And I
Mhm.
don't know if I shared this last time. I was 12 and I lied. So I'm a liar. I had to. I lied and
You
said
had
I
to
was
survive.
13.
You had to
Yes.
survive. Yeah.
I was 12. I lied and said I was 13 so I could get a paper route so I could make
Mm.
money to feed myself. So
Right.
very early on, I realized, hey, I'm a survivor and I'm going to fight. And the first
Yeah.
thing I did when I got that paper route was I doubled the subscriber base. So I had 40 people we had to deliver to. Immediately, they had a promotion that was paying like $2 per new person you signed up. So I blew that out and I got 40 of those. So I got $80. And we're talking 40. Well, what am I? Can't do the math. 35, 38 years, 37
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And so
A lot of
that was a
money.
lot. That fed me tremendously for many, many days.
Yeah.
But you know what? Your motivation is that's when they say you need your why. My why was to survive. I got tired of being starving. I wasn't going to sit by. I'd already waited long enough for my parents. They weren't going to do anything. So, hey, I took it upon myself. Now, that served me then. I
Right.
had that mentality all the way up into my 40s. And I figured in my IT company, National Technology Management, I figured if anything's going to get done, it's got to be done by me. And I
Right.
got to do it. And
Yeah. Now I'm feeling some shifts happening. I'm feeling the shift, the flow coming in.
we achieved more success when I started saying, hey, I have a team. I need to rely on the team. It's not just me.
Yeah.
And let's just use my superpowers. And my superpowers is that I am limitless, or at least I believe it. I'm sure if I jump off a building and I land on my face, I'm probably going to be dead. So there are limits, but I don't believe them. So that's where my superpower lies. It's you tell me something can't be done, and if anybody in this world has done it, I believe it can be done, and I can
Yeah.
do it. Except fit in small spaces, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. I love that. I love the expansion. And, I think what I love so much about you, Kelly, is the limitless point of view that comes across. But you actually walk the walk, and you come from a place of not just overcoming. Like when I said you were catapulted out into the world, you came out of a deregulated family on every level of no, of not being successful and not setting you up to be successful in the world. You could have. And what was that moment? You're looking at 60 years in jail, prison, all of that. What was that pivotal moment where you said, this isn't the way it's going to go down?
Well, that's when I stepped in that jail cell. I ultimately did. I got sentenced to a year. I had to take a plea deal because it was the smart thing to do. So when I took that first step in and you lose your freedom, it becomes very, very clear. Like I have to make better choices. But I want to step back and go further back into my childhood. And I think I shared this the last time, but I'm going to share it again. It's when I was 8 going on, I think it was 9-year birthday party. Not birthday party, but my ninth
Yeah.
birthday. My father had bought me one of those old Walkmans, and you're my age, so you remember the Walkmans that were just
Oh,
big
yeah.
and bulky and sticking out your ear. And I'd fallen asleep with it, and it broke off. And my mom had come home drunk and wanted to listen to the Walkman, and wouldn't. Didn't she was too drunk to realize that it was broken, and just proceeded to wail on me. Like I'm not talking closed fist, right to the nose, right in the face. And at some point, she was so drunk, she was gouging my eye out. And I had perfect attendance in school. And I had to not go to school the next day because I had a black eye. So the only reason I was alive is because my sister, who had already moved out because she used to be the victim of the savage beatings, she
Mhm.
decided she wanted to come spend the night with me. And then she had to sit in the other room and listen to while my mother damn
Mhm.
near killed me. And then when my lifeless body was about to give up, the door flung open. My sister punched my mom in the face, grabbed my lifeless body, pulled me out, and said, "We got to get you out of here. She's gonna kill you." That was 9. So that's massive resilience. Somewhere around the same time frame, my stepfather came home drunk, and my mother had left bathwater. And for some reason, his drunkenness thought that it was my job to know that she took a bath and left her bathwater. So he proceeded to drown me in that water. And it's one of the times when he dunked me and pulled me back out, my arm caught the drain plug and I was able to pull it. That saved my life. So the reason why I tell you all this, not for sympathy, it's to say these things I kept surviving because I'm meant to be here. You'll hear me say I'm the chosen one. That's why I got to give back because
Yeah.
that's only 2. I was shot at, I've been stabbed, I've been run over because I was in the wrong place. All these things I could be gone and I'm not. So you
Yeah.
bet your hind parts I'm going to show other people how to be harder than life and how to
Yeah.
flip the script and live the life of their dreams. If they follow me, they will be positive. It's not
Yeah.
easy, it's not simple, and it's not free if they want to join the coaching program. But this isn't going to be
Yeah.
some feel good rah rah. Woo, we're having fun.
Yeah.
We're going to have fun. We're going to get work and we're going to deliver results because
Mhm.
results matter in this world. And it's again looking into your life and getting everything that you require from this world from within. Dana, you know it. You have kids. You know that you got to be whole. That's why they say put your mask on before you help anybody else. Because if you're not
Yeah.
taking care of you, you're no good to me. So
Yeah.
I am number one. My girlfriend doesn't like to hear that, but it's the truth. I'm number
The
one.
truth.
Because
Tell my
if
clients
I'm
it
not okay,
all day long. You are
none of
number
my
one. Yeah. But
that's
yeah.
it.
Well, with self-worth issues, we don't tend to, and if we need external validation for anything, we're not number one. We don't feel number one. So, but the first step is the right to choose number one, and you must choose you. And I think you did. I think inadvertently you chose yourself over and over again in a survival sense. But knowing to choose you in that jail cell and saying, you know what, it's not going to go down like this. I'm going to make better choices. I don't know what they are yet, but I'm going to make different choices.
Oh,
And
I
I'm
knew what
not
they were.
studying the outcome, but it can't go on like this, or I'm going down a
No.
road of no return. And look at how you flipped that script, and look at how you didn't just flip it. You, I mean, mastered it. You took a situation and a pivotal moment that people could have gone into the self-pity, the victimhood. You had every reason to be the victim. You were a victim of horrible circumstances, but you didn't go into victimhood. You went into resilience. That right there is pivotal. That tells me you were born into that in order to do what you're doing now. This is what I love the most about your story, is that you listened to that niggle inside. You listened to that voice that said, man, I'm here for something better than this.
Yeah, and everybody's, growing up like that, your logical reaction is, I don't matter. I'm not, I'm useless. I'm unlovable. And I thought that for years,
Yeah.
years. And when I realized that that was all bullshit, and it was the
Yeah.
story I told myself. Once I realized that, that's when the massive success came. That's
Yeah.
when the millions of dollars. That's when the big explosion happened. And
Yeah.
then something else happened. You didn't give a shit about it. I didn't care. Didn't care about the money. Don't care about the fame. Don't care about anything. Just the process. Just how do I continue to add
Mhm.
value and breathe fire into this world, because I did it. Anybody can do it. And there's a lot of people that had it worse than me, but there's a lot of people that had it easier than me. So
Yeah.
if you're, having that kind of beat down and that kind of circumstances, how the hell are you supposed to come out loving yourself,
Yeah.
full of confidence,
Yeah.
knowing that that you really are here for a reason,
Yeah.
and the world is yours.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just faked it for many, many years until I
Yeah.
started embodying it and then started studying it. And then I
Yeah.
was able to look back at my life and realize everything was happening for me. I just chose to ignore it time and time and time again. Every single one of those instances were God saying, hey, Kelly, you need to move. You need to pivot. Now, what does that mean when you're an 8, 9, 10-year old kid and you're getting beat? I could have been a little bit more courageous and said, get me out of here. My sister had people come to the house and I sat there and lied to, oh, no, there's nothing wrong, because I was scared.
Well, there's
It wasn't,
self-survival there too. You were surviving there too, believe it or not. So I always
yeah,
say,
that wasn't the time. That wasn't
yeah,
the
was not
time.
the time. You
It
did your
wasn't
very
ready.
best. That was your very best you could do at that age.
And
And
it's
I
funny
think,
you say very best. That when I really, really took back the pivotal moment that I took back all my power from my abusive parents was when I realized they were doing their best.
yeah,
Their best was shit,
yeah,
and it
but
was
it was their
bare
very
bones
best.
minimum. But that's okay. That's the best that they do. I know that my best is far more superior. And guess who gets the benefit? That my 15-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And that's how we break the cycle of abuse and poverty and all the negativity, and then input positivity here.
That is
And
huge what you just said, that a lot of people don't realize, is that you realize that your parents were doing, that was their cap. That was their very best. That's what that's what life gave them, and they were actually doing their very best. And whatever they gave you and whatever fire they put in your belly, you are the result of coming out of that. And so your full circle of saying, "Hey, they were doing their very best too," releases you.
but
And then
there's a
yeah.
big controversial thing, Dana. So people are like, oh, you got to talk to your parents. I don't talk to them, haven't in over 20 years. I can
Mhm.
love them and
Yeah.
still not have them in my life. And
Oh,
and
yeah.
I because I've tried to have them in my life, and it's just their negativity, and then really truthfully the trying to take the credit for some of this drove me nuts. So it was
Yeah.
like, okay, I can love you, but I'm going to do it from over here with
Yeah, your
my
ego's coming
boundaries
in
and
saying,
my
"Oh,
standards.
no. Oh, no. No, no. We're gonna I'm gonna draw the line there. I'm gonna set a
Yeah.
boundary here. We're not gonna go cross that." I don't think that's controversial at all. I think that's a healthy boundary. It keeps you safe. It keeps you in your zone. You love them. You forgive them. That is their cap. And there's no resentment. It's like, I'm good. I'm good here. You're good there. Let's just call it a day. I support that 100%. I have siblings I have no relationship with for 15 years, and I'm good. It wasn't like that in the beginning, but I'm good because this keeps me safe. And I don't need to continually be drug into a story of 20 years ago or 30 years or whatever story it is and I'm like, wow, you're still there, huh? I'm not, but I'm sorry you are. And I can't engage in that anymore. So you have to at some point set a boundary there and just release with love and just wish them really well and hope.
Release with love. I
Yeah.
love that. I do love that. There's one more. all too often when we're trusting the process and we're going, and it's working and we
Yeah.
stop. That one is like crazy. Like, why would I want to? My life is great. Why would I change what I'm doing? Because it's working. So somebody said to me this week, it was on my podcast, was trust the struggle. The struggle is part of the process. Now, suffering isn't part of it. Sacrifice is.
Hmm.
Struggling doesn't. You don't have to struggle, but you have
Hmm.
to trust the pro. I'm sorry, you do have to trust the struggle and trust the process, but you don't have to suffer. If
No.
you give it a better
Suffering is
narrative,
optional. Suffering
yep.
is optional, and we can use the law of sacrifice and sacrifice the suffering. But suffering keeps us in the loop of feeling
Oh, that's
the
right.
victimhood. We feel something out of it, and we're getting something. We don't commit to anything if we're not getting something out of it. So the
I've said
suffering
that a
keep
million times. Life is
we're
like a
getting something out of
merry-go-round.
the suffering, and there's some victimhood in it, and we're victimized, and then and if we don't sacrifice the suffering, there is no real moving forward in for a lot of things people want in this life. A lot of times it's money. They want to grow their business, and I'm like, oh well, where are you addicted to, and what's your most dominant thought? And if it's in suffering, and they tell me stories of it, I'm like, okay, boom, there we are. As you know this, boom, there we are. Let's start there. And they're like, oh, no, I'm going to start on building my business. I'm like, let's just play with this for a little bit on here because I see where people get hung up on the energy. So tell me, where can people find you today and now? How can they be part of Kelly's world energy?
Heartofthelife.com is where we got everything. The podcast is there, all the merchandise is there, the coaching programs are. That's the number one place. But we hang out a lot on Instagram. I'm in there in the DMs a ton right now, getting people signed up for the coaching program that we're gonna be launching in the next 2 weeks. So
Nice.
that's kelly.siegel.71. Give a follow over there. But I'm a big believer that we're gonna do so many giveaways. So get on the newsletter so we can tell you what we're up to. And I got some massive things coming out in 2025. So
Ooh, I'm so
I'm
excited.
super excited. We're gonna know in a couple weeks what that looks like, and I don't know when I can start announcing it, but it's
Oh,
gonna be
nice.
fun. So heartofthelife.com, go over there and sign up for the newsletter.
Mhm.
Send me an email. It's kelly@heartofthelife.com and just say hi. I'll send you an audiobook. I'll send you the PDF of the book. It talks about all these crazy stories and so much more, and then some rituals and habits. It basically takes my life right up to the pandemic, and then I tell you what I'm going to do next. And you can watch all that on social media from the pandemic till now. And everything I said I was going to do, I know it's surprising. I did it.
You did.
So,
And I did
it,
it. And I
and
did it.
it's fun. And then we're gonna take it to the next level. And we
Yeah.
keep, I hate saying it, moving the goalpost, but or raising the bar and just
Well,
getting
yeah.
better and better and better, expanding
Yeah.
our reach and our being and who we can help. Because I gotta tell you, Dana, this world is getting crazier and crazier and crazier because I just put a post up this morning. We have self-driving cars, so now we don't have chauffeurs or valets. We have robots that'll come and clean your house. So housekeepers are going by. I mean, there's
Yeah.
so many things. If we're not adding value in this world and we're not growing as people, we're going to be left behind. So
Yeah.
jump after it, get after it. And if anything that Dana has said or I said triggers you, go break out your freaking notepad, write that down,
Yep.
call a coach, call a therapist, and let's
Yeah.
get started on that because that's what's holding you back right there.
Yeah,
That is
that
your
resistance is
porthole to
teaching you
pass.
something. Yeah, I love that, Kelly. I love that. And you're right. We have to keep expanding and holding space for all this new technology. And we can't stay. I mean, I remember when I was flying SB bills, Senate bills back to DC, there were no cell phones, there were no laptops I was working on. I'm looking at a little nightlight on the plane and reading, a stack like this. I remember the days when I had the big box cell phone and thinking it was so cool, and it was like 1,300 a month the company paid for. But I remember those times. I have been part of this evolution, and I am constantly seeking and knowing. I have to know. I have to know more. And it's never going to stop because we're not going to stop expanding. And when we expand, we can hold space for more. And I like the moreness.
I thought you were going to go to this that you're on the planes when they used to smoke because I remember that back
Oh,
in the
I
day.
remember that too. Oh, I remember when I tried to smoke clove cigarettes on the plane in the back. Oh yeah. I remember being in the hospital and you could smoke. I do remember.
Oh, you're right. Oh,
Oh
so
yeah.
nasty.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Yeah, it's mind-blowing. I remember when they put in California the signs up on the freeway that said don't litter because you could throw litter on the ground. How bizarre is that?
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
crazy.
look, if you look at that, I mean, I think, wow, look at where we are and look at what people don't know and their heads are down. I limit a lot of social media, a lot of it because I really love to connect with this world. And this is just another facet to do it. And I love this as well. I love technology. I love it. I love it. I love it. But I also love sitting in my garden on every break I get and looking at the butterflies in the sky and walking and
You
connecting
know,
with
it's a
the earth.
cheat code, Dana, right there. What you said is so being
Yeah.
out in nature. So
Yeah.
those who don't know me, back in the day, I used to be a huge partier. I'd lived a life that everybody loved me then, but even more than they do now, probably. And I used to I'd go travel and I wouldn't even pay attention to things. And now I just floated down the Provo River and I'm looking around and I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
nature is really beautiful. So if you're ever stressed, go for a gratitude walk. Go take your shoes off and go ground in the, and it's literally that simple. Just think of three things that you're grateful for, and it don't have to be anything major. It
Yeah.
is impossible to be stressed and blessed at the same time. And when you're blessed, that's gratitude. So you want to feel blessed, just say the three things that you're happy for. My morning this morning was I'm going to Florida tonight to the I think I told you last time the hurricane missed us again, back to
Yeah.
back, just missed us. So we're going down to the house to make sure everything's right and ready. But I said, I get to grab my daughter tonight and I get to go to Florida. It's my favorite place to rest and recharge. We're going for a quick weekend.
Yeah.
All of our neighbors are going down. It's just simple. I woke up and I was like, I'm very grateful. I have 7 hours of sleep. And it's just got to be simple things. And it shouldn't
Yeah.
be anything outside of you. Like, oh, I'm grateful I made a lot of money. Who cares about that?
Yeah.
Be grateful that you are the person available and attracting money.
Love it. I love it. That's exactly what I always say money follows authority, but it follows the authority within us and how we're where we're vibrating in the world because everything is a vibrational energy and that high vibrational gratitude. Everything you're talking about is so high vibrational. It just has to attract,
Goes back to
what
the
you're
thing.
wanting.
Happiness won't make or money won't make you happy. Happiness will make you money every
Amen.
single time. It is
Amen to that.
freaking
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah. Okay. So my last question for you, Kelly, what feels like love in your life right now?
Well, it's very good. You asked me this last time, and I'm going to say the same thing.
Okay.
I I aim for three things: peace, clarity, and freedom. And I don't mean freedom as in I need to not be locked up. I need to be
Yeah.
free in my mind, but a peaceful heart and at
Mhm.
peace in the world and having peace amongst each other is love to me. Making connections with people like you and having a lifelong friend in you is
Yeah.
love to me. Making a difference in this world is love to me. But it literally is looking in the mirror and
Mhm.
looking up at this TV screen and seeing myself and being proud of myself. I just
Yeah.
said this morning to somebody. I said, there was a long time, many, many years, where I looked in the mirror and I said, you're better than this, Siegel. You are better than this. My skin's all blotchy. I'm making stupid decisions. I'm waking up with strange people. I'm blowing
Yeah.
money that doesn't matter. And I'm not
Yeah.
making a difference. I'm just existing. And you're
Mhm.
not meant to just exist in this world. You
Yeah.
made it. You are statistically improbable that you were the sperm that made it. And
Yeah.
then be of our age and go through the things that I've been through to sit here and piss it away. And I got a
Yeah.
news flash for you. There's a Latin saying, memento mori. We're all going to die. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that to be negative. I'm just saying it, guys, we're all going to die at some point. Why waste a day? You hear people say, you only live once. That's baloney. You only die once. You live every day. Why in the
Yeah.
heck am I going to waste a day on being unhappy or being a victim or blaming somebody else? No
Yeah.
way. So, love is peace in my heart.
Mm. I love that. I love that. What an evolution you are. I consider you a dear friend. And I know if I was ever in need, I know I could pick up the phone and you would say, what do you need? I know it would be, what do you need, Dana? I just know that's your heart. That's what you embody, and your evolution is beautiful. It is a blessing to have you here. I hope people connect with you. I think you're a gift to the world and a champion, and I just am grateful you're in my life.
Well, Dana, what episode are you on now?
I'm not certain. I'm
I don't
not
know. It's
certain.
it's it's only like 10 or 12, right?
Well, it might be 14. I'm not sure. It's we're
Either ways,
yeah,
you're in the teens. So I want to
we're in
say
the
the same thing
teens, and
back to you.
we are doing well out there. It's crazy.
Episode 12, they just said. So you're
Okay.
12 into this. You've got a dozen. You're already statistically
You're a
and
dozen.
improbable because you're at 8, because they say most people quit at 8. You're at 12. There's no quit in you.
No
And
quitting
the
me.
love and energy that you emit. So I want to make sure that everybody, that her audience follows her, leaves her a review so she can do work great in this world, because this woman is fabulous. She is a beautiful mother, a beautiful person inside and out, and I'm honored to call you friend. So thank you. And you're right. If there's ever anything you need, the answer is yes, yes, and yes. You want me to speak somewhere? You want me to come to it? You want me to do anything? The answer is always yes, because good
Thank you.
people beget good people. Thank you for having me on, and this has been a
Yeah,
blast.
same, feel the same. Whatever you need, whatever you need. Feel like I could break out into a song, but we don't want to hear me sing. Kelly, I just love you. Thank you for
Love
coming.
you too.
Go enjoy Florida. I can't wait to see you again.
Cool.